Imagine an island untouched by modern civilization for tens of thousands of years. A place where the inhabitants have fiercely rejected every attempt at contact. This isn't a fantasy novel. This is North Sentinel Island, home to the Sentinelese, one of the last uncontacted peoples on Earth. Their story is a captivating, complex, and often tragic saga of isolation, survival, and the ethical dilemmas that haunt our modern world. The island first appeared on British survey maps in the 18th century, but it remained a mystery, a mere dot in the Andaman archipelago. The first significant and tragically misguided attempt at contact came in 1880. A British naval officer, Maurice Vidal Portman, led an armed expedition ashore. They found recently abandoned villages. After days of searching, they captured an elderly couple and 4 children, taking them to Port Blair. Predictably, the couple sickened and died. The children were returned to the island with gifts, but we can only imagine the terror and trauma this event caused, likely cementing the Sentinelese's deep-seated hostility towards outsiders. For nearly a century after Portman's disastrous visit, the island was left alone. Then, in the late 1960s, the Indian government began a series of contact expeditions. An anthropologist named Triloknath Pandit was a key figure in these attempts. They would approach the island, leaving gifts like coconuts, dolls, and pigs. Sometimes, the Sentinelese would accept the coconuts but show their displeasure with gestures or by turning their backs. Other times, they would fire arrows. A National Geographic film crew in 1974 documented one such attempt. The director took an arrow to the thigh, a clear and painful message: stay away. These friendly missions continued on and off until the mid-1990s. There was one brief moment in 1991 where the Sentinelese seemed to welcome the contact party, approaching the boat unarmed to collect coconuts. It was a historic, peaceful interaction. But it was fleeting. Soon after, the Sentinelese resumed their defensive posture. Recognizing the immense risks, not just to outsiders but to the Sentinelese themselves, the Indian government made a landmark decision. They established a 3-mile exclusion zone around the island and officially ended the contact missions. The policy became one of non-interference. Why this extreme isolation? It's a matter of survival. The Sentinelese have no immunity to common diseases like the flu or measles. A simple cold could potentially wipe out their entire population. Their aggressive defense is not random violence. It's a desperate, time-tested strategy to protect their people and their way of life from a world that has only ever brought them danger and disease. They have witnessed the devastating impact of colonization on their neighbors in the Andaman Islands, and they have chosen a different path. The world was starkly reminded of this reality in 2004, after the devastating Indian Ocean tsunami. An Indian Coast Guard helicopter flew over the island to check for survivors. As it hovered low, a Sentinelese warrior emerged from the jungle and fired an arrow at the helicopter. It was an astonishing act of defiance, a powerful declaration to the world: we are still here. We survived, and we still want to be left alone. This delicate hands-off policy was shattered in November 2018. A 26-year-old American missionary named John Allen Chau became obsessed with the idea of converting the Sentinelese to Christianity. He believed it was his divine calling. He illegally paid local fishermen to smuggle him to the island, violating Indian law and the exclusion zone. His own diary entries reveal his awareness of the danger and the illegality of his actions. On his first attempts to land, he was met with arrows. He retreated, but he was not deterred. In his final diary entry, he wrote to his family, "You guys might think I'm crazy in all this, but I think it's worth it to declare Jesus to these people." He instructed the fishermen to leave without him. Days later, they saw the islanders dragging his body and burying it on the beach. Chau's death sparked a global debate. Some hailed him as a martyr, while others condemned his actions as a reckless colonialist intrusion that not only cost him his life, but also gravely endangered the Sentinelese people. He could have introduced deadly pathogens to their community. Anthropologists and tribal rights organizations were horrified. Stephen Corey of Survival International called it a tragedy that should never have been allowed to happen. The incident raised profound ethical questions. Do we have the right to impose our beliefs, our technology, our way of life on others? Or do we have a moral obligation to protect their right to self-determination, even if it means leaving them completely alone? The Indian government faced a dilemma. They couldn't prosecute the Sentinelese for murder, as they are not subject to the same laws. And retrieving Chau's body was deemed too dangerous for both the recovery team and the islanders. His body remains on the island, another somber chapter in the Sentinelese's history of contact with the outside world. Today, North Sentinel Island remains under a strict quarantine. Protected by the Indian Navy, the Sentinelese continue to live as their ancestors have for an estimated 60,000 years. They are a living window into a prehistoric past, a hunter-gatherer society thriving in the 21st century. They hunt with bows and arrows, fish with nets and spears, and live in communal huts. Their language and customs are a complete mystery. We don't know what they call themselves, or what they believe about the world, and perhaps we never will. The story of the Sentinelese is not just about an isolated tribe. It's a mirror reflecting our own history of exploration, colonization, and the often destructive consequences of contact. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about cultural arrogance and the right to be left alone. They are a powerful, living testament to the idea that not all the world's mysteries need to be solved, and not all its blank spaces need to be filled. Some places and some people are best left to their own story, unwritten and undisturbed by the outside world. Their continued existence is a fragile miracle, a quiet act of defiance against the relentless march of modernity. Thank you so much for watching. What are your thoughts on this complex issue? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this story as fascinating as we did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most incredible stories. We'll see you in the next one.